Welcome everyone to session number 4 of our Skiers Fitness Tune-Up series. I'm Nicole Chamberlain Harrison. Welcome to the Chatham Bars Inn. We're in Bayberry Bluff today. We got the fireplace roaring and we're going to start with our warm-up. So get onto our mat. One thing I did forget to mention, you'll want to grab at least one weight and a band. The weight is not necessary, but you'll definitely want to grab your band. So as you come onto the mat, we're going to come onto all fours and start with a thread the needle stretch. So you'll bring your left hand into the center of your mat and just take your right arm up to the sky. Take a deep breath in, feel a nice stretch into the chest, up through that hand. And then exhale, you'll glide the right arm underneath the left and just land here for a moment on the right shoulder. So the right top of the shoulder and just getting a nice stretch into that shoulder blade. And then breathe in, reach your right arm back up to the sky. And breathe out, take that arm over to the left. Feel that good stretch into the upper back. And just do that 3 more times. Breathe in, reach up. And breathe out, reach across. Good, twice more. Inhale, big breath in. And reach over to the side, exhale, big breath out. One more, then we'll switch to the other side. Inhale. And take it over to the left, exhale. Let's bring it back onto all fours. This time sliding the right hand into the middle and reaching the left arm up. Inhale. And exhale. And so warming up the body here, breath in and breath out. Get a little bit of that rotation, inhale, and a little bit more on the exhale. 2 more, deep breath in, deep breath out. Let's finish strong, 1 more, inhale, and exhale. And we'll come back onto all fours and just move through a few rounds of cow and cat. So taking that arch spine on an inhale, looking up to the sky, and then a rounded spine on the exhale, trying to look in towards your belly button. And just moving along the spine each time, trying to get a little bit more range of motion. Inhale, feel the stretch in the abs, and then exhale, feel a nice stretch along the spine. So we really want to just create that mind-muscle connection right from the start, getting the whole body involved. Let's go 2 more. And not holding the breath. Keep the breath deep and full. Fresh oxygenated blood right into the tighter tissue of the body. And as you bring your cats and cows to a close, we'll go ahead and lie down onto the mat. And we'll take this into some swimmers. So here, you'll come onto your stomach and bring your hands behind your head. So your fingertips are just gently on the back of your head. And take a moment and lift your hands off of the head. And then straighten your arms behind you. And as you bring your arms behind you, you'll then bring your hands to touch your lower back. So the backs of your hands are on the low back. And then lift them up. Straighten out the elbows. And bring the hands up and around to the starting position. So do that 4 more times. Lift up. Back of those shoulder blades squeezing together. Reach the hands behind and then land them on the lower back. Okay, lift. Straighten the arms and bring them back to the starting position. All right, 3 more. Lift. Straighten, reaching for more behind the back. Lower back, the hands land and lift. Straighten. Back to that starting position. All right, 2 more. We'll take it a little quicker here. Lift. Straighten out the arms. Bring them back behind you and land. Lift. Straighten. And back to start. 1 more. Getting your swimmers, getting those shoulder blades worked, getting the back of your body work, keeping those postural muscles nice and strong. And then we'll land both hands down. Just press yourself back up. And we'll come off of our mat and come up into a standing position. So from the standing position, we're going to take our opposite arm, opposite leg kicks. And we got 10 of these each side, and it doesn't really matter how high the leg goes, as long as we're standing up nice and tall. I'm going to do about 5 more. A little stretch in the back of the leg. Got a couple more. 1, knee hug figure 4 stretch. So you're gonna grasp onto your ankle and grasp onto your knee, and just try to hug that into your body, creating this little package of the knee and ankle in. And then just lower that leg down. So this requires some mobility of the hips, as well as stability of that standing leg. So if this is a little bit too much for you today, you can always just stay with the knee into the chest, right? Stay with this variation. Otherwise, we're gonna do 2 more each side, and more that figure 4. So you're hopefully feeling a good stretch in that outer hip, right in that glute area. Okay, so 1 more each side. When you fall off balance, just come right back in. Good. As we finish up that 5th one, we're gonna move into an inchworm. And for inchworm today, there's multiple variations, but we're just gonna stay right here on the mat. So you're gonna come into a forward fold. So just take a moment, decompress your spine, and feel a good stretch into your hamstrings. And then you'll walk your hands into a downward facing dog. Take a moment in down dog, just looking back between your feet. And then we'll look to the hands, walking your feet into your hands. Try to keep your legs as straight as possible, maybe just a soft bend into the knee as you come now to the top of your mat in a forward fold. From here, we're gonna walk the feet back into down dog, and then hands to feet. So this is gonna prevent any type of pulling on the hamstrings. We're gonna go back and forth. That was 1. We have a total of 5. So each time you just wanna feel a good stretch into the hamstrings, and at the same time just raising your core temperature. So as you walk feet to hands, and then you'll walk back to down dog, and then back into your forward fold at the back of the mat. That's 2. All right, going for 3. Down dog, forward fold at the top of your mat, and back into downward facing dog. There's no rush here. Our goal is to get the body nice and warm for our training session. All right, 3 down, and just 2 to go. Walk the hands to feet, and then feet back, and then hands back. Last one. Get those feet as close to the hands as your body will let you, and then we'll walk it right on back. As you complete your inchworm, you'll roll on up to stand, stretch the arms up, inhale, and hands to heart center, exhale. All right, starting with a single leg reach. This week we'll go a little further. Rather than just reaching straight ahead like we did last week, we're gonna try to tap the ground. Okay, come back up, and then you're just gonna alternate. So rather than staying on one leg, we're gonna go back and forth, 10 each side. So stand on one leg, little soft bend into the knee as you lower, tap, and come right back up. Just have fun with this. You may notice that one side that's a little bit more balanced, and one side is a little less balanced, and that's all right. And we're trying to just get the body to more of an equilibrium. Just going back and forth. We're about halfway there. You're gonna finish up 5 more. Keep coming back in if you fall out. Nice work. 4, 4, 3, 3, and last 2 here. 2, 2, and 1, 1. Great job. Hands to hips. Let's open up those hips now. Bring the knee up and around for some external rotation, and then into the body and tap the toe. We're gonna now work that opposite direction. Bring it out and around, in and tap. That's 1. Let's go 4 more each. All right, so these hip bones, we want them to face forward, and no movement from the lower back, just all from that hip joint. Great, so keep the hips healthy, and all the joints healthy. That's how we prevent injury. 4, 5. As you finish up 5 on that side, just switch, taking 5 in the other. And the whole body is braced here. Think of core being braced in, Shoulders relax down the back. And it may help sometimes to look at a single point, maybe look straight ahead at something that's not moving. May help, not always. 3. All right, 2 more each direction. And last one. Good. We have 2 more in our warm-up, and then we'll go right into our strength. We'll move into a Spider-Man stretch, also known as the world's greatest stretch. So a couple ways you can come into it. You can come in from down dog and then just step 1 foot to your hand. If that's too much, you can start on all 4s and then just take your hand to your ankle and kind of step it through, step it forward. I'm going to try to keep that back leg lifted. If that's too much, you can lower it down. And then we're going to just reach up to the sky. And then today we're going to stand one leg and take the forearm and just kind of lower that forearm as low as it'll go. Maybe it'll touch the ground, maybe it just hovers, and then reach back up. Good, 5 each side. Lower that elbow down as far as it'll go, and then reach up. Good, 3. Go reach to the sky, and lower down. 4. Finish up. And 5. And stepping back into down dog. And take it into the other leg. Okay, core stays braced. Let's reach that arm up. And lower the forearm down. A lot of times, common injuries as we're skiing can be pulling muscles, right? Pulling the groin, pulling hamstrings, quadriceps. So that's our whole goal right here, is to get the body nice and warm to prevent any pulling injuries. Let's finish up 1 more. Nice. And then as you finish, we'll come right to stand. And of course, we'll come into our quadricep reach. So getting the front of the leg, don't get stretched much. So bring the hand to the back of the foot or the ankle, try to knock the knees together, and then reach the opposite arm up towards the sky. Take a deep breath in and out. Again, working that balance. Switch. Good. Next side. Coming back in, 3. So good, 4. And standing up nice and tall, no slouching, 4. And 1 more each leg. And 5, good. So go right into our training from there. If you need a quick sip of water, anything like that. If you haven't grabbed your equipment and you want to grab it, go ahead and take that now. So we'll be moving through 3 different exercises. We have our core strength, which is something we never want to lose. We want to have a nice strong torso. So the first exercise, remember you can always modify and just hold a regular plank on the hands or forearms. Or the harder variation, which we'll choose today, is around the world plank. So you'll be in your plank. You're just going to reach one arm forward, the other arm forward, reach one leg up, and then the other leg up. So it's almost like you're traveling around your mat, lifting each limb, and it's called a round the world plank. Remember, if at any time that gets to be too much, you can modify lowering the knees, or just modify lowering and holding. So that's our first exercise. The second one that we'll be moving into are lunges. So this week, I want to give you the opportunity. We've been working really hard on our legs, so if anyone is up for it, you do have the opportunity to add weight to your lunges. So remember, our lunges, we have our feet together. You're going to step one leg back, lower it down, and step the feet together. All right, we'll alternate like this. And then lastly, we're going to take our band and move into some lateral band walks. So you'll bring your band right up above the knee. So it's a little bit above the knee, just a couple inches. You're going to start in an athletic stance, feet about hip width apart and knees bent. Then you take a big step out to the side, keeping that athletic stance, and then step the other foot in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 5 one direction, and then 5 in the other direction. You can just kind of stay on your mat, going back and forth, a few steps one way, and a few steps the other way. So really working the outer glute and preventing any knee injuries down the line. So we'll begin with our plank, and we're gonna move through that for 30 seconds, taking our rest, and a 30-second rest. So this is our last week of this time frame. Next week we'll be upping our time, so really good. You wanna work hard this week, because you know it's gonna be even harder next week, so we wanna have that natural progression. Alrighty, so when you're ready, we're gonna start in 5, 4, 3, 2, and go. Lifting one arm, lift the other, one leg, and the other leg. So there's no rush at all. However many you get in is perfect. You want to try to keep the hips square to the mat, right? So that when we lift up a limb, our hips are still facing the ground. Okay, we got 10 more seconds. Check in, you're hugging that low belly in, right up to the end. And rest. You can lower the knees down. 30 seconds here, and we're moving into lunges. So lunges are a little different than the split squat. Split squat is the exercise where we're just staying in place, going up and down. For the lunge, you're actually moving and alternating. It's still going up and down though with that back leg. So if you're choosing to use weight, you do not have to. If you're using 2, you can actually just hold those by the side. If you're using 1, you can hold it right here at the chest. So either option, go ahead and begin. Step 1 foot back, lower the knee, step the feet together. And so that front leg is really working to power us through. Driving the heel into the ground and squeezing the glute as you come up to stand. We're gonna go about 10 more seconds like this. Oops, don't watch me. 5 more. And rest. So we're ending our first set now with our lateral band walk. Do you want this? Nice. Good catch. So bringing that band right above the knees. If you're at home and you're not sure which band to use, typically the darker colors are the harder colors. Okay, we want to get nice and strong, so I always recommend the harder if you can manage. All right, let's go. In that athletic stance, 5 steps to the right. 2, 3, keep low, 4, and 5. And then other right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you can keep your hands on your hips, you can keep your hands together. I care more about is what's going on with your knees. So as you're moving, you want to prevent the knees, they're going to want to kind of naturally cave in, right? So we're pressing them into that band. And rest. Go ahead and take that band off. Deep breaths. And we'll be moving through that 2 more sets. Right? You feel that? Burns. Really working the glutes. So glutes are the largest muscle group of the body. Really good to keep them strong. If they're strong, then our little joints don't have to take on as much work. So coming back into our round the world plank. In 30 seconds, starting to feel like nothing, getting really proficient at these movements. Around the world. Just traveling on your mat. If you need to be a little bit more stable, you can keep your feet a little wider. And if you're looking for more of a challenge, you keep your feet a little closer together. Just about 5 more seconds here. And rest. Try to breathe in the rest period. This is your time to recover. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. And one thing we want to prevent when we're exercising is kind of caving in. Okay, try to sit up tall, try to breathe in as much as possible. All right, we're moving in to our next one, our lunges. So grabbing that weight, either 2 by the side or 1 right in front, and go. So the back leg does not need to tap the ground, it can just kind of hover But if you can get it all the way down, that's awesome too. Just be mindful that you're not slamming the knee joint into the ground. It's just a nice little controlled tap. Good. You can also hold on to something if balance is a real hard challenge for you. Feel free to just hold on to a chair nearby or something stable. And rest. Good. Take those 30 seconds to breathe. And before you know it, we're taking up our rest here to put on that band. So it's a little bit of a working rest period as you bring that band right up around the knees. Now you may see a lot of physical therapists prescribing this for their patients who have knee injuries and are rehabbing, so it's also good for prevention. So bend at the knees, bend at the waist, and begin. Stepping 5 one way, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then other way. Yeah, get those steps as big as you can. Stepping as far to the side as possible. That's it, nice. And other way, we got 10 more seconds. And take that band off. Resting here. Any little sips of water that you may need, you can grab them. And we'll move into our third and final set. It goes by quick. For the third and final set, we have our around the world. And so last set, you may realize you need to go a little bit easier. You may need to go a little harder, so just adjust and begin. Go for it. 30 seconds here. Just lift to lift, keeping those hips square. Creating that core strength. Nice deep breath. Try not to hold your breath. We got 10 more seconds on the clock. Go right to the end. And rest, just like that. All done with your planks. And moving into our last set of lunges. Deep breaths on the recovery. Yeah, that's a great thing about these exercises is you're building your endurance at the same time you're building that strength. So we'll get into positioning, that starting position, starting in 5 seconds, standing nice and tall, and go for it. And same thing with the band, you can walk, same thing like with the band, you can watch that front knee and just make sure that it's not caving into the body. But if anything, it's pressing towards the outer edge of your foot. I'm gonna go 10 more seconds. 5 more. And rest. Now you can put your weights down, grabbing your band one last time. These band walks are something you can do on a regular basis. They're very good to just incorporate into your regular routine. And it doesn't take much, just your body and your band. All right, we're starting in 5 seconds. So deep breath, bracing the core, bracing the whole body, and begin. 5 one way. Just try to remember which way you start going to so that you can finish and keep your body even. You're not overdoing it on one side. And also just watch for those hips where we're not going up and down as we do this. And we're trying to stay low the whole time. Almost like there's something right above your head, right? And you don't want your head to hit it. And rest. And so just make sure that you finish evenly. We've got both sides about the same amount of time. And then we have a nice long rest period. So about a minute to just rest and recover, grabbing any little sips of water that you may need, and we'll move into our next set of exercises. So your recovery is just as important as the actual work. And if we're not recovered, we can't put in as much effort for the next step. So take this time here to breathe, relax, get any little water breaks that you need. So the next set of exercises we're moving through is a side plank and a push-up. There's a little bit of rotation here, again working the core and the whole body. So what you'll do is you'll start with a push-up, and then you're just going to move into a side plank, spinning your heels to one side, reaching the arm up, come back into center, go into the other side, and then back into your push-up. If you need to modify, you can do this all on your knees, going down, spin to the side, spin to the other side, and then back into your modified push-up. Alrighty, so we'll be moving through that first. And then the second one is a single leg deadlift. So this is a progression from our single leg reach. Feel free to do it without weight at all, okay, and just work on that single leg reach. If you are choosing to use the dumbbell or the kettlebell, we're going to do what's called a contralateral single leg deadlift. So all that means is I have my left leg down in the ground, but my right arm is going to have the weight. So this is going to create a little bit more of that challenge of the mind, working one side with the weight, but working the leg that's standing. So opposite sides of the body. I still want to keep that back nice and flat. And for this one, we're going to do 30 seconds all on one side before we transition to the other side. Alrighty, so that's our second exercise. And then third, we have some lateral lunges. You're going to keep that weight right at the center of your body. You're going to lunge to one side, come up to stand, and then lunge into the other. Alrighty, remember no weight is required. Feel free to do this all with just your body weight if you'd like. So when you're ready, we're going to start with our side plank and push-up. We'll begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, and begin. So getting that push-up in, side plank one way, side plank the other, and then back to your push-up. We're going to find that rhythm, one way, the other, side plank, and push-up. And 30 seconds to rest. So wherever you are, just start to finish up, take that break, 30 seconds, and let's come up off the ground, give those arms, give the core a rest, and move into that single leg deadlift or single leg reach. And we'll start that in 10 seconds. Remember, this one we are staying on one side the entire time. All right, 3, 2, 1, and begin. Nice flat back, and stand. Little soft bend in the knee before you come on up. If you're familiar with yoga at all, this is similar to airplane pose. Because you want the back toes to face the ground the entire time. If you find that the toes are starting to face out to the side, right, then we are going to be off balance a little bit more. And go ahead and rest on that leg, shake that side out. Deep breaths as we move into the other side in just a moment. Feeling good? Good, awesome. Doing awesome. You can feel free to do any little ankle rolls. There's a lot of work for the ankles here. And we'll get ready for the other side. Grasping onto that weight. It's stabilizing on one leg. And begin. We want to hinge at the waist, keeping a nice flat back, driving the heel into the ground as you come up to stand. So your hamstring here almost working like a recoil to pull you back up. Your glutes are working here as well. Nice. Let's go 10 more seconds. And there you are. Go ahead and just rest. So we finished our single leg deadlifts and we're moving on to the final exercise in this set, which is the lateral lunge. So it makes the lunge a little different than a squat. The lateral squat, you would just be keeping the feet on the ground and moving back and forth. The lunge, we are actually going to be stepping the foot out to the side and the feet together. That's the main difference between the squat and the lunge, is one, you have the feet always on the ground, and the other, you are moving back and forth. So hands at the heart or at the hips, or grabbing onto that weight, and begin. Lunge one side, feet together, lunge into the other. And then as we push off that foot, we're pushing off the outer side edge of the foot. And then trying to come up to stand with control. Nice. Awesome job, you got it, keep in it. Keep working here for 5 more seconds. And all done. Set number 1 is complete, and we have 2 more to go through. Doing so good. Yeah, nothing's gonna beat those jump squats from last week, right? Those were tough. So the first one that we started with, just a quick reminder, is the plank, side plank with a push-up in between. So start in 5 seconds if you wanna get into the positioning. Starting with a push-up, go ahead and begin. Push up, side plank one way, side plank the other. And back into that push-up. Push-ups are like a plank, but even harder. And they work that whole body. And remember, you can modify, lower the knees down. You can also even work a combination above. Try to get one more in. And done. Thirty seconds. Awesome, Maria. 30 seconds, and we're moving into single leg deadlift. And these are great. These are all exercises you can feel free to do at the gym. Write it down. Do them again later. Practice this as much as you need. Or feel free to just do it in the comfort of your own living room. All right, let's go. Choosing one leg to start with. Sometimes it can be nice to start with the harder side. We want to send the hips back, the heart forward. And usually your body's going to go where your eyes go, so I kind of like to look straight ahead at the, almost like if you're thinking of the horizon. Right? If I'm looking down, I'm going to have more of a tendency to round my back, which you don't want here yet. Work those postural muscles. Okay, one more really good one here. And take that rest. 30 seconds, shake it out. And so much of exercise too is just returning the heart rate back to, spiking it up and then returning it back to like a natural rhythm. Getting ready in 10 seconds, going into the other side. Hopefully you got your hardest out of the way. If not, here we go. Begin. So as you lower, you're going to feel a little stretching sensation in the hamstring, and then really squeeze the glute. Just pull yourself up. The whole back of the body working, the whole posterior chain. 10 more seconds. A nice flat back, shoulders pinned into the back. And done. You're complete with your single legs, awesome. And we go into our lateral lunge. And anytime we do lateral movement, we don't get to do much of it in our day-to-day life, so it's good to just take this opportunity and try to move a little bit more side to side. So hands at heart or hands at the hips. We'll go ahead and begin in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go. Remember, it's not a race, it's not a competition. It's all about just what you're feeling here. So we want to feel the legs working, pressing us back up to stand. The core is braced the whole time. Sometimes my core is sore the next day just from bracing it, not even from doing the core exercises. Okay, so we're ending the second step. 3, 2, and rest. Go ahead and complete that one. Any little sips of water, anything like that at all. We are coming into our third and final set. And so good. Each week it's a little easier. I don't know. 3, 2, 1, and do one each time you go to the side. Right, you get both sides in, and then you'll do your push-up. Unless you want to make it harder, then you add as many push-ups as you like. Halfway there. Good. And complete. Officially done with your push-ups and side planks, just like that. And then last but not least, our set of single leg deadlifts. Yeah, a lot of people who aren't comfortable with regular deadlifts, the single leg deadlift can be a great segue, or the single leg reach, to become more comfortable with that. Because if one leg is strong, right, you get to work the other leg to get just as strong. Alrighty, go ahead and begin. Last and final set of these. So last and final set, you kind of know your pace. You can start to go a little harder in any ways. Maybe that means adding that weight for the final round, or maybe just trying to get a couple extra reps in. Sometimes it's just breathing a little bit, a little bit better, or just being more intentional. There's all these ways to make it harder. And rest. Taking 30 seconds. Shaking it out if you need, any ankle rolls. And other side, we'll start in just about 10 seconds here. Get yourself ready. Nice tall stance. And we'll lift up one leg. And send it back, begin. Stay focused here on keeping a flat back. Allowing the shoulders to roll down away from the ears. Let's finish strong here for 10 more seconds. Nice work. And rest. Breathe. Deep breaths in and out. And we'll move into our lateral lunge. So good. Be over before you know it, and you'll have your workout in. You have all the benefits. So, something that we don't always, feel good during it, but definitely feel good after. So here it is. They're starting in 5 seconds. Last set of these lateral lunges. And begin. Lunging one way. Step the feet together. Lunge into the other. And the nice thing about this being a lateral movement is you get a little stretching sensation too as you go to the side. I'll stretch into that inner thigh area. And check in, you're pulling in the belly button spine, keeping that core braced. And we're gonna finish up here about 10 more seconds, couple more each side. All right, so then just one more each so that you're even. And set your weight down. Awesome job. So take a nice long minute off here. What we'll be doing next is our Metabolic Finisher. So this is going to be a little bit longer this week than the previous weeks. So strength training is officially complete, and we'll move into that next little set. So 2 exercises that we're going to be moving through. We have 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, so you'll be doing 2 exercises, and we're going to try to get 4 sets done. So it's a little bit longer, and the whole goal is to get the heart rate up here towards the end of the exercise. So the 2 that we're moving through are skaters. So you may recognize these. We're hopping one way and then hopping the other. So we want to get the arms involved anytime we're doing athletic movements. Even though they're not the primary mover, they do help to create more momentum. So it's not necessarily touching the elbow and knee like this, but just using the arms in that athletic way to jump a little higher, jump a little further to that side. Remember, if you're not jumping, then you can work more on just that large step to the side. So we have that for 30 seconds, and then we're moving into some hops. So hopping 4-way. I almost want you to imagine like there, and here on this floor you actually kind of can, that there's 4 quadrants. right? And you're hopping into one, hopping into the other, and just going in like 4 directions. So if you don't have that at home, hop forward, hop to the side, hop back, hop to the other side. So it's like you're hopping in a square. And then we'll do it one way. We have 4 ways, 4 sets. So if you're going to the right to start, or clockwise, the second time around, we're gonna try to go counterclockwise. That make sense? So skaters and 4-way hop, 30 on, 30 off, 4 sets. Are you ready for it? Here it is. Yeah, when you get onto that mountain now, nothing is gonna stop you. Starting in 5 seconds, we have our skaters. You can start on one leg, and go. Hop to the other side. Yeah, using your whole body. Every cell is working, yes. Nice and soft on that landing. And you're already halfway there. Remember, goal is to get that heart rate up. Okay, and get a little of that aerobic work in. Let's go for 5 more seconds. 2, 1, and rest. Good breather here. As always, taking that time to recover. Remembering it's just as important as the work. If you have the quadrant at home or here in the room, feel free to use it. We're going 30 seconds, either clockwise or counterclockwise to start. Just try to remember what you did the first time, because we're doing the opposite the second time. So feet are going to be together. You want to try to keep the feet together, right, and not have them apart. All right, landing nice up. Jump forward, to the side, back, to the side. Core stays raised. They're up. Nice. And if you're not hopping, you can always do quick taps. I forgot to mention that. You can just kind of quick walk. Tap, tap, tap. Or keep hopping. 3, 2, and 1. Rest. 1 round down, 3 to go. So close to the end here. Remember, after these 4 sets, are long stretching, nice cool down. So know that is awaiting you in any minute here now. Starting in skaters in 10 seconds, get yourself ready, mentally, physically, as you get towards the end. 3, 2, 1, and go. Skate to that one side and the other. It's gonna lateral movement, kind of land soft on that toe. Nice and soft landing. Each time trying to get a little bit more. You wanna challenge the body here for about 10 more seconds. 2, and done. 5. So remember, we are going into our 4-way hop. If you went clockwise, you're going to try to hop counterclockwise. So you'll have a little bit of that backward hop. So you can start almost like at the center, if you're like at 12 o'clock, with your feet at 12 o'clock, and then either clockwise or counterclockwise, 4-way hop. 3, 2, 1, and go. And anytime with footwork, it's good to look at the feet, but also try to look up so that you have like working that footwork here, with that muscle mind connection again and again. And of course, if you need to check in, go ahead and look back down. Like little bunnies. 5 more seconds. 2, and right. Good. And in the second set. And it's not easy, right, but it will be worth it, I promise. Third and final set. We'll start in 10 seconds here. But not final set, sorry, 3rd set. Accidentally put that final in, but we have 2 more. 2, 1, and go. Nice big hops. As far to that side as you can go. Good, keep going. got it. Just like that, halfway. Positive self-talk as you're moving through this. You got it. You're strong, you're capable. It's getting hard, but you can do it. 3, 2, and on. Done with those. Our 4-way hops are coming up. Moving all around the room. And stay hydrated. Starting 10 seconds to get yourself ready. Remember, you move feet together, either hopping or tapping. 4-way, and begin. And hopping is great for bone density too, so a little added bonus in there. There you go, check in, core breaks. 10 more seconds. Here we go. Almost there. Stay in it. 2 and 1. Amazing. Now officially we have made it. Last one. Last little minute of work. 30 seconds for the skater. Our last 4-way hop. And then beyond the mat, stretching and cooling down. And the cool down's that much sweeter after you worked hard for it. Starting at 3, 2, 1, and skaters. Step to the side, jump to that other side. Remember, if you're not jumping, you can always just step, big step. Halfway. Good. That's it, yes, just like that. Here we go, 8 seconds. 2, 1, and done. Skaters, done for the day. One last set of your 4-way hop. My mat wants to just keep moving me closer to, it wants me to sweat. So we're gonna step, remember, feet together, 4-way hop. Counterclockwise or clockwise, depending on what you've been doing. Try to even that out. Starting in 5 seconds. 2, and go. Yeah, keeping those feet nice and close together. Nice soft landing. Hop, hop, hop. Get that heart rate up. And maybe go a little faster here. Last set, just commit to doing your best here. Here we go, 10 seconds, that's it. Work for that break, work for that rest. We're cooling down here, just 5 more. 2, and 1. You are done. Hardest part is over. And we're cooling down now. So I'll walk you through the couple of stretches that we're going to be moving into, which are a kneeling hip flexor stretch, which is so important to stretch out after you go to the gym, or if you're doing a long day out on the mountains. Hip flexors can get really tight, especially the type of workout we were just doing. You want to stretch them out. So kneeling hip flexor stretch, we are going to hold for a minute. And you're going to just bring one leg forward. Bring both hands on top of that thigh. And you're just going to lunge into that leg. So this will be the first stretch that we start with. When you're ready, you can just come right on in. And it's almost like your hands are pressing into that knee so that you can grow length through the spine. And you can keep lunging forward into that front leg. If you can't see your toes, right, just scoot that foot forward. And eyes are focused, breath is deep and full. You can use a little activation into that back glute to help lunge a little further. And hold here for 30 more seconds. So goal here now is to get the heart rate down and cool down from all the hard work that you just put in. So we want to get out of a stress response. Anytime we exercise, we do create a stress response in the body, which is a eustress, which is considered a good stress. But still stress nonetheless, so we want to try to cool down, get back into a relaxation response. And from there, you can just swing that leg around. Let's go same thing on the other side. And just go right into it. So lunging forward, you want to try to keep the hips square. There's not too much weight on one side or the other, right, but just right down the middle. And same thing, it's like you're pressing that leg away, trying to grow length, your crown of the head, pulling up towards the ceiling. And then just notice what's going on with your breath. Right, try to breathe in and out through the nose for about 30 more seconds here. And you can think about breathing in for about 5, and slowing the breath down and breathing out for about a count of 5. Just a little bit longer, maybe lunge a little deeper. 2, and rest. So from there, we'll move into what's called a lizard stretch. So you'll come onto all fours and then step 1 foot forward. You're gonna keep that back leg down for today and just take your hands down onto the ground. Nice. If you have the flexibility, or if you have blocks at home, you can try lowering one or both forearms down, but it's not mandatory. This is good to stay here as well. We're just going to hold this side for 30 seconds. So finding a position that you feel like you can stay and breathe in is the most important. Let's hold here just a little bit longer. Nice and slow. If you're on your forearms, come up onto your hands, swing that leg around, and switch to the other side. Lizard. Good. And just like with everything, whenever you do opposite sides of the body, you may notice those imbalances, which is normal. You're not to judge it or criticize it, but just to work with it. And always working to create balance to the best of our ability without forcing it. Attention to the breath, right now holding the breath when you get into these poses. It's so important to breathe. Right? You'll hear me mention it a million times, and there's a reason. It's because I always forget to breathe too, so just that reminder. Okay, breathing in and out. Let's hold here just a little bit longer, right up to the end for 10 more seconds. 2, and rest. And then last stretch we'll come into is a seated forward fold. So we're going to do a wide-legged seated forward fold. So as you come into a seat, you can just bring both legs wide out towards the sides of the room. You bring one hand in front of you, one hand behind you, and then just kind of scoot yourself forward. So you want to be up nice and tall versus coming from like a rounded spine. That's why I like to bring one hand in front, one hand behind, and that's going to just usually scoot you forward and get you up nice and tall. Now some days you may feel tight and you want to just bring your hands behind you and hold here. Other days you may feel a little bit more flexible and you can lower down onto forearms or just stay right up here onto your hands. So you choose your variation and we'll go ahead and start to hold. And we want to keep the feet active. So the feet, we're going to pull the pinky toes, all 5 toes of one foot back towards the shin, and check in with the other foot. Hold a little bit longer here. Let's hold 30 more seconds. And so as we pull those toes in, as we pull the feet in, right, that translates all the way up into the hips. Nice, holding here about 15 more seconds. Folded forward, just start to walk your hands back up into a seat. And then we'll take the hands behind the knees, just walk those feet in. Hands come behind you and just windshield wiper the knees side to side. Just do that one more each direction, just windshield wipe. And then bring both hands to one side, and we'll come up to stand. So thank you all so much for finishing up our session number 4 of our Skiers Fitness Tune-Up series. I look forward to seeing you next week. Session number 5, we'll be adding on and continuing to progress. So thank you so much for joining us.